So, hello again. We're here to answer a very important question that has been debated for a long time, ever since the discovery of what we're going to be talking about today. So, viruses, are they alive? Are they living? Are they dead? We don't know. It's not alive, it's not dead either. So, what is it? So what is it really? If it's not alive, if it's not dead, then what is it? Let's talk about reproduction. Animals can reproduce, plants can reproduce, but most importantly, cells can also reproduce. How do they do that? Well, in order for a cell to reproduce, it must split. So from one cell, it must split into two cells, to two new cells. And from both those cells, another cell comes out. It's just gonna keep splitting and splitting. It's gonna keep splitting, so that's to replace the dead cells, the dying cells. Those are what the new cells are for. So, in the case of viruses can't reproduce on their own. Viruses cannot reproduce on their own. They are very dependent on healthy living cells to reproduce or replicate. We don't even call the production of new viruses reproduction. We call it replication. So, in order to replicate, viruses must first hijack the reproductive equipment of the host cell. So how they do that? Either they latch into the cell, they attach themselves to the cell and inject their genetic material in the cell, or they go inside the cell. They go inside the cell and insert their genetic material. Either way, it's gonna tell the cell to reproduce more copies of the genetic material of the virus. It's gonna tell the cell to reproduce more of the viruses, to replicate more of the viruses, the exact copies of it. And once there are enough copies, the cells are gonna burst, and what happens? The viruses can spread to other healthy cells. And that's how viral diseases are produced. That's how we get viral diseases, from infected cells. When one cell gets infected, it produces copies of other viruses, bursts, the viruses spreads to other living cells, and that's how we get viral diseases. So, unlike other organisms, which can again split, like other cells, can split, viruses must assemble themselves by taking control of the host cell. Again, manufacture, assemble their viral components. And of course, most importantly, viruses aren't considered living because they don't consume energy to survive like animals do, like cells do, like plants do. Cells consume energy in order to survive. They have to produce ATP. Unlike living organisms that meet their energy needs by metabolic processes that supply energy-rich units of adenosine triphosphate, or ATP, the energy currency of life, viruses can survive on nothing. They don't need energy to survive. They can survive on their own. So in theory, a virus can drift around indefinitely until it comes into contact with the right kind of cell for it to bind and infect, to create more copies of itself. Because again, without a healthy cell, without a host cell, viruses can't reproduce. And those are why viruses are not alive. But we can't argue that they are dead either. Let's just say they are non-living. We classify them as non-living beings for these criterias. But who knows? Maybe maybe this can change. We don't really know anything, like anything about viruses. We don't know anything about cells or viruses deeply. But with further study, maybe this could change. And I hope that more answers will come up in the future with further research. So once again, thank you for tuning in, and have a nice day. Bye bye.